Ngizwe Mchunu, the alleged instigator of the July 2021 unrest, will know his fate today at the Randburg Magistrate's Court. The former Ukhozi FM presenter will hear whether he's been found guilty of inciting violence as well as of violating COVID-19 regulations. On the July unrest, while primarily occurring in KwaZulu-Natal and Gauteng, involved widespread disruption as well as looting of shops. Mchunu is maintaining his innocence, though, and eNCA reporter Heidi Giokos is following through with the story and joins me now to give me this update. Heidi, a very warm good morning to you. This case has been long running with regards to, of course, hearing of what Ngizwe Mchunu's fate will be. I suppose today we can expect to hear that, right? Good morning.
Yes, exactly that, Tumelo. But interestingly enough, it is 6 minutes past 9 and we have not seen sight of Ngizwe Mchunu. Sorry, sir. Sorry. We have not seen sight of the accused at this particular point, and normally they are supposed to be in court at about 8:30 this morning, which is a very different situation at the moment. If I'm not mistaken, that is Carl Niehaus, who's basically just walked into court, and I would assume, Tumelo, at this particular point it is in support of Ngizwe Mchunu. And let's just bring context to the story, because we do know that he basically handed himself over after there were indications that he could be arrested for possibly inciting public violence as well as contravening the Disaster Management Act back during the peak of the COVID-19 pandemic, during the July unrest that happened in 2021. This all related to when former President Jacob Zuma was arrested. He was calling for the release of the former president, and we do also know that he has told the court time and time again, he's even engaged with media time and time again, that he is innocent. He believes this is nothing but a political attack on him, and all he did was defend the former president at that time. In court during his trial, he's reiterated this. He said that he did absolutely nothing wrong. We do know that back in 2021 he had indicated there was a press briefing of some sort, literally calling for the release of the former president. But because of what happened in this country in July 2021, and it being the July unrest, where hundreds of people lost their lives and there was mass destruction of public property and so forth, businesses literally being looted, there was obviously a big concern about who was inciting all of this to take place. So Mchunu has indicated that he is innocent. We're just going to have to wait and see what the court finds, as it is judgment today. I just keep looking around because I'm actually getting an indication, Tumelo, that I do think there could be a possibility that they might be on their way. They are very late because court is supposed to start at 9 o'clock this morning, but it does seem as though there is some sort of delay at this particular point. I don't want to mention this without proper confirmation, but an interesting development we have also noted is the fact that we are seeing presidential security that have been at the court for some time from very early this morning. And we were also told by the court to be here a lot earlier today because they were expecting a large crowd. But at this point, it doesn't really seem as though anybody is here at this particular point, which I find rather strange, because we do know that they're normally here very early and they do come in their crowds.
Also, I was about to ask that exactly, Heidi, regarding his supporters or family members. Have you seen anyone that perhaps indicates that they're here to support Ngizwe Mchunu, or they may be members of the family or members of his camp, so to speak, even though we haven't seen his presence? Any indication of that at all?
Yeah, that's the thing, Tumelo, is that normally we do see a large crowd of his supporters. We do know normally they come all the way from KwaZulu-Natal, and at this particular point we have not seen anybody. And that's why it's slightly strange that there is some sort of delay of some sort. I'm going to ask you to just stay with me for a little bit, because I am seeing a quantum that has just arrived, and there might be an indication that it might be them, but I'm not exactly sure. But there is definitely a lot of movement and a lot of action. There's a high police presence. As I've mentioned, we've also seen the presidential detailed security that's here, possible indications that former President Jacob Zuma could be here today to support Ngizwe Mchunu, given the fact that he, this all stems from the fact that he was defending the former president at the time, according to him, and that's been the center of his testimony while he was on trial. While we were live earlier on Tumelo, I'm not sure if you got the glimpse, but we did see as well Carl Niehaus arriving, and that might also be in support of the former president and Ngizwe Mchunu. The quantum that I have seen has gone all the way to the back. I see my colleague Linge running, so that obviously means Ngizwe has arrived. Let's just try and get a little bit closer. Yes, so I can confirm to you, Tumelo, that he has indeed arrived very late, because we do know he's supposed to be here at 8:30 or so, but he is also flanked by his supporters. He's also, indicated that he is innocent. I would try and like to get a comment from him, but let's just wait for him to get into court, as we do know that he is also delayed.
Well, Heidi, we're definitely seeing those visuals there. Ngizwe Mchunu making his way inside the Randburg Magistrate's Court at this time, as my colleague Heidi Giokos had mentioned earlier on. The time expected for court to commence was actually 9 o'clock. We're 12 minutes in to the hour, and we're seeing Ngizwe Mchunu arriving alongside his supporters. They seem to be singing praises, chanting, and all in anticipation of his fate inside court. Now, he is alleged to have instigated, or at least been part of those alleged to have instigated the July 2021 unrest. And today he will know his fate on whether or not he has been found guilty of inciting violence as well as of violating COVID-19 regulations. Ngizwe Mchunu, a former Ukhozi FM presenter, I mean, he's always maintained his innocence to this day, saying that this is nothing more than a political ploy against him. And today he will indeed know his fate. We're seeing his supporters there just hovering around him, flanking around him, singing dances as they, of course, make their way and prepare to get inside a court. Earlier on, as Heidi mentioned, we had seen Carl Niehaus also coming in the Randburg Magistrate's Court, but not certain if it's to show support for Ngizwe Mchunu or he's here for, rather there for his own reasons. However, we also saw very much police or law enforcement protection protocol services also indicating that there might be also someone of influence that's expected to be inside court. You can see the Ngizwe Mchunu expected to make his way inside court any moment now, and we'll keep our viewers updated on what the outcome is, whether or not he has been found guilty of, just inciting violence, invading on those COVID-19 regulations, violating the regulations, despite and albeit Ngizwe Mchunu often maintaining his innocence.